The following is a fan-based discussion. All properties discussed are property of Toei Inc., Bandai, Hasbro, and Subaru Productions.
Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Tokucast Reviews, episode 118.
Yes!
Why are we still numbering them at this point?
We have reached the end of the Heisei era with Kamen Rider Zi-O.
Yep.
This is going to be a good bad terabyte situation.
No, it isn't.
Obviously.
It's just going to be a bad and terabyte
No,
situation.
it's just going to be a terabyte.
I actually like things about this show.
Good for you.
Good
We'll
for
talk
you.
about them.
You can keep them.
Alright,
We'll talk about it.
fine. We'll start with a very short good section.
Let's, please.
What's good about this show?
Whoa, hold on. That's not where we start.
The opening.
The opening.
Was it in the good, bad, or terabad?
I liked it.
And
like it.
I hate it.
I don't care.
I think it's terrible.
I actually like Over
Good for you.
It's not the best one. I still think that goes to
X-Aid?
yes, and also Hibiki's first one.
Valid.
And also O's.
Also O's. And W.
But yeah, I actually like the opening.
Good for you. Moving on.
I'm glad you do. Glad you were able to glean
And
something from this.
Is that the only good thing you have? Please
No.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
Alright, what else we got?
Honestly, I'm just gonna start with until I get to like the one really good thing I liked about this show. I like the fact that Sogo stuck, even though his thing was stupid. I want to be king. He stuck by that. They did not change that for him,
Okay.
and I honestly really enjoyed. It's like, all right,
Dedication to crazy doesn't necessarily mean a good thing.
still dedication,
Yeah.
and his character.
You could say that about...
Depends on the script.
You could also say that about most fucking sociopaths and psychopaths. John Wayne
Not-
Gacy was very
Nope,
dedicated.
nope, we're not going Thomas Sanders here. You're not going to be intrusive thoughts. I actually really enjoyed the fact that just like he was that was his goal.
Ted
He
Bundy was
stuck
very
to it,
dedicated.
and he didn't venture from that really in any direction.
Okay.
I honestly like some of the alternative future writers that we got.
Okay.
Yeah, put that in hard quotes. It was also good just to see, with Shinobi and Quiz and Kikai, but especially with they're all people that we already knew going into this show, because Shinobi was Star Ninja.
The actor.
Yeah. Quiz was Redbuster. He was Romo.
Mm-hmm.
And Kikai was the guy who played Kikaider, obviously, in the reboot. And
Let's just see, we've made a bold career stride.
and
We
Zamigo.
took a whole 3 words off my name. I'm a different character.
And Zamigo from Lupat. But yeah, I actually like the fact that, they were used. I actually really like Quiz's story with the whole thing with his dad in the past. I thought that was handled pretty well.
Okay.
What
What about it was handled well?
honestly, one, it showed that Hiromu Zadra could actually act, because we saw what he gave us in Go Busters, which wasn't that great. But here, it's just like you actually got to see a lot of emotion from him.
Okay.
And I do think that has to do with the director. But honestly, that the whole thing with him not knowing his dad and actually getting to talk to him, but of course not getting to say who he was and anything because time. But it was handled well and written well too. So I really enjoyed that, especially because it wasn't focused on the main characters. So I thought 3 of them were really, really weak in this show. Ginga was weird, but we'll talk about that later. But I do want to talk about the obvious best boy in Wallace.
Okay.
I loved Wallace so much. He was such a
He seems like the kind of character you would gravitate towards, yes.
Yeah,
He was.
this is my shocked face.
I loved him. He was the whole reason I really stuck with the show in the first place.
An over-the-top hype man. Who would have thought?
Yeah, he was funny. His actor sold that. He was.
I will give the actor that. He gave it 100%.
110. He was just. I'm here. This is what you're gonna deal with. Iwai. And I just loved him. I thought he was probably the best character in this show. Yeah, he was sort of
Best is a strong word.
still saying something.
Only good character.
Probably.
Which by default would make him the best.
Yeah, but it's false advertising.
But in all honesty, I think if you're gonna watch the show for Waz. Everybody else doesn't matter. Just watch it for him.
That's
Because-
not why you should watch a show.
His energy was just. I'm
It's like-
ready.
That's like saying watch X-Aid for what's his name.
But I mean, you watch X-Aid for everything.
No, but I'm saying,
Dan.
huh?
Dan, is that who you're talking
Yeah.
about?
That's like don't care about anything.
Well,
Just watch
Kuroto.
Dan Kuroto.
Yeah.
Just watch X8 for Dan.
Also,
Kuroto.
Dan, that's his name.
Who shows up in this show?
But it's
Right.
you shouldn't pitch a show based off the side character.
Dan Kuroto's in this for the O's
For the
episodes.
O's episode.
Anyway, is that it for your good?
It was good to see Kagami again.
Sorry, who?
Kagami.
Oh, okay.
Couldn't.
I only know who you're talking about when you say his name right.
Sure. Too bad they couldn't get Timbo back.
No.
He
He was busy stealing somebody else's profession.
was a cook at the time. Also, I don't think that, like, from what he said, they didn't ask him.
I mean, he was probably too expensive in comparison to Kagami.
Maybe, but I don't know. It was great to see Eiji back and Hina. Of course, Dan Kuroto, because it's just hilarious. It wasn't great to see the Bill cast again. We just got rid of you.
But we got rid of them. We saw them. They were in the first 3 episodes.
Yeah.
I know, it was really weird that they just...
Well, start with the most recent one.
I know, but it was such a, like, immediate turnaround.
Yeah.
The XA cast, a good portion of them were there. Save that one for later.
You're just going to the bad.
Yeah.
This plot.
It's so wibbly wobbly, timely wimey, but
In the worst way.
in the worst way possible. We're just going to combine the terabyte here.
Yeah, let's just do everything. Jacob, you want to start us off? You look like you're about to pop.
This morning, I went to the DMV and I changed my license plates in the pouring rain. That was a far more pleasant experience than watching Kamen Rider Zi-O. This might be the worst Kamen Rider I've ever seen.
I can't disagree with you.
It might be the worst main series. Amazon's might still be worse, but for different reasons. But this show is atrocious. One of the main reasons is because I could not stand the lead character.
Yeah.
I never once
Oh, I agree.
believed him in this role. He was so poorly cast. This
I feel
Oh
he
my
was too-
God.
he
I
was too
just-
young.
This-
like there's the. I don't even think this show had a good plot from the get go.
No.
I don't think I like the idea. Like,
I
part of
think
me likes the idea that the main character grows up to be a
could
villain.
grow up to be a villain. I think
But
it has an interesting core concept. I like the idea of we're going back in time to we have like a few different factions working together. We've got one who's trying to prevent him from becoming a villain, one who's trying to just kill him, one who's trying to make sure everything plays out just as the prophecy is foretold.
And another one to take his spot.
Yes, and admittedly, it's not a bad concept. And I like the idea of them traveling across different time periods, meeting up with different Kamen Riders, and he's a character who wants to be king. So let's have him meet up with different Kamen Riders, and as he meets up with them, he learns a different lesson about what it means to be a hero and what it means to be a king. Let's incorporate that and grow him as a character as we go.
And then introduce Decade and the End as wild cards. And I honestly enjoyed having them back in this show. Tsukasa was also the
I
best.
did not.
No. The execution
And
of that core concept was so piss poorly handled.
This show has a terrible script. There is a line in this show. I texted you about this. As it happened, there is a line in this show where a character says something to the effect of, it's like, he will die if you kill him. Because people die if they are killed. Thanks.
That's
Fate
like
series.
Mars destruction level. She didn't make
She
it.
didn't make it. No shit! She doesn't have a head anymore.
I saw somebody reacting to that. I saw somebody reacting to that on TikTok, and I knew it was coming. And when you're the person who's already seen this shit, watching somebody else watch it for the first time, oh, it's glorious.
There is another scene in this show. I texted you about this like not too long after. There is a scene where a character, it's a very serious scene with ominous music playing, and they're very threateningly talking to each other in hushed whispers about, you are going to be the evil king one day, and I will make sure to stop you. he does this while standing behind him and holding a baguette to his throat. I'm sorry, who gave that the okay? Tonally, those things do not mix.
I mean, if it's a stale baguette, it might hurt.
I don't think it was. The Japanese like to buy fresh groceries.
They could use it to make croutons.
The plot of this show
or French toast
was so poorly executed, and whoever was the lead designer of this show needs to be fired and blacklisted from Tokusatsu.
It's some of the
every single ugliest. Aside from maybe like the writers from the future, the alternate timeline writers, these are some of if not the ugliest costumes in Kamen Rider to date.
You know what?
Stronger looks better.
Every single form in this show looks like DeviantArt.
Especially in the
every
shoulders.
single form,
especially in the shoulders,
is someone's OC do not steal. It is, here is my time-themed Kamen Rider, and here is a form of his that is based on this character. It is, we are plumbing the depths of DeviantArt, and I'm not saying this to besmirch people who draw fan art. I'm not saying this to besmirch people who make their own OCs. I'm saying this to besmirch the people who were paid actual money to make this happen. This is one of those things that I watch and I look at and I say to myself, Jacob, you know, you've done a lot of things in life that you're not proud of. You've done a lot of things in life you regret. But at least you didn't do this.
Weirdly enough,
excuse me,
I like just his forms that he gets. Like Zi-O 2, I think that's really the only other one I like.
Do you like the base form?
I honestly do like the base form. I think the base form looks okay.
You as well?
Yeah, I think the base form looks okay. I think Zi-O 2 looks okay. Grand Zi-O and Zi-O Trinity.
Oh my god, Grand Zi-O.
Are too busy.
I want to go back and redo our final forms tier list that we just did. I want to create a separate category just for this. That's like below trash, below F, and I want to put it there.
Also, Oma Zi-O. That's a quality suit.
Oma Zi-O, I think, is the only good-looking suit in the show.
Why wasn't that his final form?
Well, technically it was.
No, it wasn't.
He became that. At the end of it.
No.
He still ended up becoming... And in an amazing scene where he said, was to thee, why? And then he just kills everybody. I was just like, I appreciate the death.
The only good suit, the only decent looking suit from his Rider Armors is Kuga. Because it's the only one that doesn't have pauldrons taller than his fucking head.
Well, that's because Kuga had no collectible.
That was my point. But, like...
Let's glue a bunch of plastic onto
the
this suit.
fucking Geiz suit
is awful.
It is so goddamn awful.
It looks like he shouldn't be able to move in it by all accounts.
No.
It's too heavy. It looks way too heavy.
But yeah, his base form is okay.
He shouldn't be able to bend his elbows, it looks like.
His base form is okay. Zi-O 2 is okay. Zi-O Trinity is garbage. And Grand Zi-O is hot, like, fucking
it's weird,
dumpster fire.
It's weird, like, at least it looks even.
I don't care.
But it's just so unbelievably busy.
And I've said many times in the past, and I stand by this, that I don't care if the suits are bad as long as the show is good. You can
I do.
I know, but I'm speaking for myself. X8 is a show that I think is fantastic, but I think a lot of the suits are bad.
Fair enough.
Because it has a great script, and it has good acting. This show has none of those things. One of the things I was really looking forward to was... I was really looking forward to seeing how they would integrate the past Kamen Riders.
I know, but looking back,
yeah, of course, looking back. But especially like the O's episode in particular is one that I really wanted to see because I wanted to see AG again.
Oh god, that suit!
And oh my goodness, one of the things I really, really hated about this script was the fact that every time we're meeting up with past writers, they're either not themselves, they're like different versions of themselves. And the way they interact with him is just so unsatisfying and surface level. It's so awful. I wish I had more positive things to say. I did.
I do have one positive thing.
What's that?
The Kamen Rider monsters are
the
well.
others
Are designed well.
The anothers. Another build.
The Another Riders.
I think, they're designed very well.
I will give the show that. They are designed well. I wish that as much effort was put into those as it was to the suits, because looking at the O's suit...
Speaking of the anothers, let's talk about Another Zi-O and how they didn't know what to do. So they had to keep bringing him back for some reason. He came back way too often to not be the final villain, and also he just straight up didn't matter. So it just got, like, the more he came back, the more I didn't want to see him anymore, because he just got tired, and they kept bringing him back, and I'm sitting here like, I understand, like, at least the beginning, it's just like, you were also there, so all of this could have happened to you, but it didn't. But even still, I'm just like, I don't, the only person I care about in the show is Waz and Decade. I don't care about anybody else. Why bring this character back when he doesn't really have anything to do with the actual plot proper? The Another Zi-O and Another Zi-O 2 arcs, I should say, were stupid and not well done.
I have to talk about the main character again.
Okay. So good.
This might be... I'll say it again. It might be the worst casting choice that Kamen Rider has ever made for its lead. I never once believed him in the role. His energy is never where it should be. The instant we're introduced to him, I was just like, no, I don't believe it. Because he shows up and he's like, I want to be a king. I'm going to be king.
I just can't wait to be king. Our video just got taken down.
Oh, goodness. This is a character you needed Forze level energy. You needed Daigo from Kyoryuger level energy. To someone who is excited to learn, someone who is willing to learn, someone who is full of energy and bounding at the seams and ready to be a hero and ready to take up the mantle and the crown is the kind of character that we needed. And this character never really changes. He starts the show as like he comes across as so weak on screen.
Yes.
And even in the final episode where he is transforming into his final form for the last time, and he's just, I'm going to transform and I'm going to beat the final villain, it just comes across as so weak and ineffectual. You don't buy it for a second. You needed that energy level to be up in the stratosphere. You needed that thirst for power that could have turned, like, we needed to see something in him that maybe could have turned malicious. But you never do. Instead, we just get some clueless dope who just kind of bumbles his way through the story, and everything just kind of falls into his lap.
Yeah.
I never feel like he had to work for anything.
Yeah.
Just, hey, here's the driver, go.
I think the biggest issue was that we saw the end game first. We sort of knew where he was going to go, but it's not presented
or his
well.
potential.
Yeah, we saw the potential, but we never got like an actual. This is sort of the way that it could have gone.
I would have been totally okay. I'm fine with them showing the end game first, but we need to see how that could have potentially happened. We need to see how this character potentially could have become that.
Yeah,
and we never do.
We never got to see like the shades of that darkness coming.
There's no shades of gray here.
Yeah, we never got to see the darkness coming through throughout the rest of the show.
Nope.
And then like Geiz and Tsukiyomi get killed at the end, and that's what does it.
No, This is not.
He doesn't have good chemistry with either of those actors. I don't buy their relationship.
It's.
Geiz
I don't mean to.
Stuff.
I don't. Please do not take this the wrong way when it comes to the comments I'm about to make about mental health. This kid did not seem like the type of person who was one bad day away from breaking. This is not Joker. We saw in that movie the darkness that was in this guy where one bad day, I can see him becoming a total psychopath. With this kid, one bad day looks like he's going to go cry to his mama.
Or his uncle in this case.
In this
His
case.
parents.
But
He might like frown about it for a bit.
But
I feel like that example's a little extreme for what we're dealing with.
But it was the first example that popped into my head.
I feel like a better example.
It's just that we didn't see the potential to that.
Maybe I feel like Geiz's actor should have been
Soga.
Yeah, I feel like he could have pulled it off better.
Probably.
Speaking of which, let's talk about Geiz.
Didn't like him.
Yikes!
No.
This character, it's like the flip.
By the way, his forms are just as bad.
He is
the wizard suit. Holy fuck, the wizard suit.
He is what?
Sorry. He is what?
You know how a lot of shonen anime have that indignantly angry character who's just kind of off to the side yelling a lot?
The Sasuke?
Sasuke's more brooding.
Yeah, he's not a yeller.
Really? I would like to
be fair, that might be a more apt comparison to this guy.
Yeah.
Because really he is just kind of off to the side like, grr, I don't like you. I'm going to make sure you never turn into the king. Grr.
I'm going to try to kill you a couple of times. And we're all sitting here like, oh.
And sometimes I'm not going to.
Grr.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's the sometimes I'm not going to. Because there's no big build-up. Because he flips so often between trying to kill him and then trying to not kill him. And then we get like the whole third alternate timeline with the Black Walls that comes out of nowhere where he gets Geiz revived and all of that. And I'm sitting here like, I understand that this thing deals with time, but at the same time, he's not interesting enough of a character to really follow in the role that he was given. He's really bland. His motivations change so often. He seems really cool with Sogo after like the first couple episodes, and then he's not anymore. But there's never a real reason given as to why. Like, if they would have given, especially because I feel like Walls had delivered this line saying, like, the things that Sogo was doing is affecting the time that Geiz is coming from, so that's why his motivations keep changing the way that he does. I don't know. But that's never given, that's never explained, that's never shown, so his personality switches just came out of nowhere.
Depends on what the writers were feeling like that day, I guess.
Yeah, this is the problem coming up, especially what we're going into next. The difference between somebody having a show having a lot of writers, but no real art.
No real end game?
Yeah, no real notes.
No plan?
Given on something like 01, where there was just like an actual, I have the whole thing planned out. We're ready to go mostly. Coronavirus. I want to talk about the worst two episodes of this show.
Please do. What are they?
Thighs.
Wasn't the Thighs episode just in the middle of another
It was
as well?
It was combined with the Forza.
With the Forza, which is just such a stupid and weird choice.
You know what made it?
Why did they do that?
You know what made it even more stupid and weird?
Saying
that Kaisa and Kusaka and Thighs themselves were friends the entire time.
Maybe this is an alternate timeline where they used their phones.
I don't give a damn. They kept trying to kill each other. Kusaka was a terrible person. That he just kept trying to kill the entire time. We're sitting here like, I think that pissed me off more than anything else.
Also, I love how Forza isn't in the Forza tribute.
He's in. No, he was in the Bill X8 movie. That's the last time I saw him. But to be fair, dude's expensive.
I don't care. This is your job. It's the Forza tribute episode. At least get some of the cast back.
They did.
Get the ones who matter back.
They did.
No, they didn't.
They got the teacher.
That doesn't matter.
Yes, he does.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
He's not the one I care about.
Too bad. They got the teacher and JK back. So they got those two. They were part of the main cast.
No, I'm with Jacob on this one. If you're going to do a tribute episode, if you can't get the actual writer who does the main writer,
there was no way.
The Wizard episode. We got Beast.
Yeah.
Here's your consolation
prize. They
prize.
Don't deserve. Then they don't get a tribute episode.
Here is your consolation prize. It's a trophy full of moldy pickles.
Give tribute episodes to the actors who can show up.
Even though it's not the main actor, it doesn't matter. They still got people.
It does.
It doesn't. They got people from the show. That was like the whole point. They're still going to end up going to the show proper. If we want to.
They don't do a good job of
Well, this show doesn't do a good job, period.
They
so it
do
doesn't
not
matter.
do a good... It would have been fine if the script was better, but it isn't. The script isn't good, and they do a terrible job of trying to play to what the themes of said season were.
Oh, I know.
They're not good tributes.
We saw that in the Fives episode, because people actually talked to each other in that one. And next thing you know, they were friends. And that pissed me off more than anything else the show gave me. I'm sorry. That episode was atrociously bad. And what made it worse is the fact that they tied it to the Forza episode, which I think they were trying to do a whole decade thing with that.
I don't know why they did that. That was such a dumb idea.
Because I think they were trying to do the whole decade thing where that AR Fires World was set in high school for some reason.
No.
That seems like a stretch, and I don't buy it.
Nope. Let's just move on. I don't want to talk about this anymore.
What's next?
Really, that's the only other thing I'm
The time machine. Can we talk about how ugly that is? The time machine met.
whenever they end up bringing in big robots like this, I'm just like, why?
Even in 0-1, it wasn't that great, but they used it sparingly. I'll give them that.
They use it like 3 times and make it total. But
Giant CGI robots expensive.
yeah, and I think that was much more function over fashion because
Yeah.
they made like an army of them before they blew up the factory.
But yeah, the show is not good.
No,
Like,
In case we haven't made
that
that clear.
abundantly clear. Do
Just
not
in case
watch
some of you
this.
were still wondering if we were on the
I
fence.
would never in any universe
just watch
recommend-
Revice.
Revice already looks like it's going to be using the concept of integrating Kamen Rider, other previous writers into his other forms better.
Well, I think that's also because they're not focusing
On the anniversary part?
Yeah,
Because
it's just like integrated into the show.
It's an anniversary season, but it's not the-
Easter eggs within the suits.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, we have to go talk to Wizard to unlock the secrets of the Styracosaurus.
I think the fact that this was the last writer of the Heisei generation hurt it more than it ever helped it.
I think it hurt it more than Decade. That's saying something. It's Decade.
Well,
the
Decade
show.
was just an anniversary season.
Yeah, I know.
Was just an anniversary season. This was the final Kamen Rider of an era.
And it's
And
also an anniversary.
And an anniversary.
And an
season.
anniversary season. I think but if it was just an anniversary season, I don't think it would have been this bad. Because that is one thing compared to the final Kamen Rider of Heisei. That, I guess, gave them a lot of expectations to honor the entire Heisei era of Kamen Rider. And in doing so, they gave us essentially the show equivalent of when you try to make a meal in Breath of the Wild and you fail. And it's just the
They
sense of
gave
mess.
us the Sentai, the writer equivalent of freaking Caillou. And the fact that they both suck. And we hate the main character.
The comparison I would make, but
Yeah, that's
it's their own.
That's a jump. But anyway, this show is awful. -10 out of 10. Do not watch it.
I think if you're going to end up watching anything from this show, watch the future Kamen Rider arcs. I think they were probably the strongest things that the show gave us.
That's not saying much.
I thought the show was a complete and utter waste of time.
Yeah, I'm with Jacob. Complete and utter waste of time. Let us know what you think in the comments down below.
Next time.
Excuse me.
It's going to be a little bit of a Kitbosh episode next.
Some movies.
No. Well, one of them. We'll be doing the Sentai Greatest Battle.
Oh,
Those 4 episodes. And Rider Time Ryuki, which is Zi-O
What
related.
you've been wanting to do for a while.
Which is Zi-O related, but it's like pretty much all the Ryuki.
It's a sequel to Ryuki.
It's Zi-O's Ryuki because it is all the Ryuki cast is in it, and we focus on them.
Mm-hmm.
Like Zi-O and Geiz are barely in it, so they don't even matter.
anyway, that's what we're going to be doing next.
That's what's next.
Let us know what you think about Zi-O in the comments down below. Follow us on all the things. And we will see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you for watching.